Welcome to Waves of Awareness, the podcast that is bringing the voices and personalities of people with disabilities to the community.
Listening along to learn more about the daily life of me and my friends, the resources available to us and our families, and how this podcast is chatting job for me and others with disability in this community.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Waves of Awareness. I am Staci Davis, one of your co-hosts. We have Matt, the man Moore, here with us today. How are you, Matt?
Staci, Matt, and I feel great, Staci.
I'm so glad to hear that, Matt. And it's good to have you back. You haven't been here with us for a couple of weeks.
It was.
Yeah. So welcome back. We have two special guests with us here today from our early learning program. We have Miss Cheryl and Miss Kate, and they are here to talk to us about all things summer transition into the school year for kids.
Yes.
Welcome, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. Yes. Well, Matt, I think my first question is, do you want to do questions for the ladies first, or do you want to hop into your life updates first?
I got mine.
You want to ask? Let's ask your questions. Let's go.
What are helpful ways families can prep their children for a new schedule when summer ends?
That's a great question. So, summertime comes with a lot of fun, usually. Lots of free time, some more unstructured time. So, as families are starting to prepare for that transition to a new schedule in the fall, that can be a little challenging. And I think that word prep is most important. So taking time to prepare your kids for some of the changes that will be coming up, what's going to be different, what's going to change, and really explaining to them exactly what that will look like, right? So, in 1 week, you're going to start back at your preschool, and what that will look like is mommy will drop you off, or you will go get to see Miss So-and-so, and some of these friends will be there, and kind of giving as much specific information as possible, so little ones aren't caught off guard, right? Our little ones, I mean, not most people, but little ones especially, they like to know what to expect. They don't like too many surprises, because that's when it can kind of lead to some big feelings. So in order to kind of prepare them for that, we want to explain to them with as much detail what they can expect, and then kind of put them in charge of some things if possible. So maybe picking out a new backpack, or picking out a new pair of shoes, or, maybe we can find some fun new snacks that you can bring with you to daycare, things like that. So.
Oh, yeah. I would get excited about that.
New snacks are always good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think Matt has a next question, and I'm just going to expand on that.
Yeah.
You want to ask us number 2?
That's right, Kate. Yes, I will.
Thanks.
Okay. Number 2 is, what are good? Wait, I can't remember all.
Is that routines?
Oh, it's routine. To incorporate
Very good.
with children as summer ends.
That is a great question, Matt. So what are good routines to incorporate with children as summer ends? What Cheryl was saying about, telling children what to expect and picking out some new things that might be exciting for them. I think that those are great things to start building into the routine before your routine might actually change. So let's say you have a child who's starting daycare or preschool or changing classes in their daycare, in August. maybe a couple weeks ahead of time, you might start preparing them for that and even practicing some of those things that you'll need to do either the night before or the morning of, or both. Just to sort of practice that before you actually have the time deadline, which everybody knows that it can be a challenge to get little ones out the door in the morning on time. So maybe practicing that ahead of time could be great. If your child helps in picking out their outfits, you could practice setting that out the night before. At bedtime, you could pick out your outfit for the next day and get everything ready. So even if you're not necessarily going somewhere, if your time is still less structured, you could still practice that routine of, when we get up, we're going to eat breakfast and we're going to put on the clothes that we laid out. And even if you are going anywhere or not, you can also have them maybe help pack a snack or a lunch to put in the backpack and, take it to the library or take it to the park or wherever you're going that day. That's so that idea. When it becomes, that, we got to get out the door by whatever time, that you've already had your child help practice that getting ready routine and preparing ahead of time so that it feels a little bit more natural to them as they transition to going to school in the morning.
It's almost like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Like we're just practicing, making sure straps on the backpack fit right.
Exactly.
Everything's comfortable.
And kids often really like to have some of that ownership and having some choices and just feeling like they're contributing to it too. Have them practice, all the things that you need to do, like getting in their car seat. And these are things that can be done, all the time, but specific to that fall, summer ending, fall beginning change in routine, you can kind of do that with the school stuff or daycare stuff or whatever your family schedule is going to be. And then also, something that can support that as well is even a visual schedule. A lot of times that can be helpful for a morning routine for any child, but specifically for a child who might have a disability or a language difference or something like that. It can be helpful to have just a simple picture of, like eat breakfast, clothes on, brush teeth, or whichever order that you're doing it in. You can start building that into the schedule if that's helpful for your child. And you can find things like that online, or we can even link something in the show notes that might have a simple morning routine for getting ready for school.
I like the idea of starting to practice that when you might have more free time, which, like Cheryl said earlier, typically this summer you might have a little bit more free time, and you can almost like identify what are those areas of the routine that might slow down or have little bitty hang-ups, so that you can work through those and maybe schedule a little more time, you know.
And it feels like less pressure on the adult, I feel like, if you're practicing ahead of time, because it can, there might be kinks in the routine. So figuring that out before you're actually like, oh my gosh, I'm late for school.
The bus is coming, get out the door.
Exactly. So that can be
remember
helpful.
that as a kid.
Yeah.
we should have practiced more when I was a child.
And also my child, when he gets rushed, that can increase anxiety. That can actually slow him down if I'm trying to rush him. So if you're, able to practice it when it's a little bit more relaxed, that can also help with not having your child feel like they're really rushed.
Yeah.
All their
Specific
areas of a new schedule that are hard for the children.
Yeah, great question. I think some of that goes along with knowing your child. So thinking about what what are some things that typically tend to be a struggle for your child? So like even like Kate said, setting out clothes the night before, if you know your child has a hard time making choices, right? If in the morning and trying to pick out, or they have specific clothes that they like and don't like, just taking time ahead of time to think about, okay, what might be challenging for my child? And what supports can we put in place to help before that becomes, we're in that crunch time and trying to get out of the house. And then I think also thinking about transitioning to a new schedule when school starts back and summer is ending. Again, summer a lot of time tends to have more playtime and more screen time for a lot of families. So that can be challenging for some little ones as we're making that transition. So maybe thinking about, and this kind of goes along with prepping as well, maybe changing that routine a little bit, cutting back on screen time a little bit, setting some more boundaries, some more limits, so it doesn't come as such a big, huge shock or change.
Would you suggest a gradual reduction in that screen time? Because I would assume that in the summer it might ramp up. I
I know it does. I know it does for my family.
Yeah.
So like
It
maybe
does.
like a gradual taper, like so because you don't want to go like
I mean, yes, you could do it
Hard
that
no.
way. I also think of that in terms of like bedtime and wake up time as well. I would definitely suggest kind of doing that gradually. Like if the child's bedtime has gotten later and wake up time has gotten later and it needs to be earlier for school or something like that, I would definitely recommend kind of doing that in shorter increments, maybe like 15 minutes at a time for a couple nights, and then keep going until you get to that spot that you want to go. So yes, with screen time, you could do a similar thing of, or this is the time that we have for screens today. And like at this time of day, the screens go off or whatever works for your family.
And I think what works for the age of the child too. So, with screen time, sometimes it can just be helpful to do like a first then statement, right? So first we'll do screens, then we'll have a snack. So it's, again, it's expected. Okay, I get to do screens, but when I'm done, I'll get to have a snack. So, and even as far as like reducing it, just those reminders of, okay, we have 15 more minutes, just so it's not a big change. But
Yeah.
I think overall it's just important to just kind of be mindful of what will be looking different when summer ends and kind of changing up your routines a little gradually before the summer does end, so that it's not just a huge shift and everything's different all of a sudden.
And related to screen time, I also suggest all the time to give a warning ahead of time, and also to stop at a point that doesn't feel so abrupt to the child. Like, oh, if whatever they're watching is over, then it's time. Either, like one more video or 5 more minutes or whatever it is, because and honestly, this goes for everything with changing routines and all of the things. I always give this example to new families that I work with, because kids do like to know what to expect and what's coming next, whether that be, a change to back to school routine or a transition from a screen to a snack time or something like that. But this is my example. If I am watching my favorite show and my husband comes in and changes to a basketball game without saying anything, I'm usually not amused. And I'm like, hey, I was watching that, right?
Yeah.
However, he loves basketball. He loves Kentucky basketball. So if he tells me there's a basketball game on Friday night at 7 and I'd really like to watch it in the living room, then if I want to watch it with him, then I can. And if I don't, I can choose to do something else or watch my show in a different room or this, that, or the other. Or if I am watching at that time, I know that he's coming in to turn his on, but he's given me a warning, right? Versus somebody coming in and just changing whatever you were doing. And I think that we as adults do that to kids a lot without thinking about it. And I know that for me, that gives me some anxiety, that gives me some frustration when that happens, if somebody just changes something on me like that. So I often give that example to parents of just like, think about prepping your child ahead of time so that your child has, that same opportunity as you to know what's coming. And they're not going to be able to necessarily process that as much as an adult because they don't have as much experience. But that can definitely help with changing transitions, routines, all of the things. I feel like if you tell kids what to expect, that can be really helpful in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing you say that communication is important regardless of age, but then also multiple forms of that communication. So whether it be the visual cues that you talked about or just the I'm going to tell you about it and then even give you a countdown as we're going down, so just giving it in multiple ways kind of helps the anticipation of a change or transition.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have another question?
I did 3 already. I'm on 4.
That's right. Yeah, let's go.
Okay. How can parents support their children as they say goodbye to summer and make it positive?
Thanks, Matt. So that was a really good question too. It's how can parents support their children as they say goodbye to summer and make it positive? Matt, what is your favorite thing about summertime?
As summertime, I like hang out with my cousin.
You like to hang out with your cousin?
I do.
And do they live somewhere else?
The Smoky Mountains.
Okay, so they live in the Smoky Mountains.
Yes.
So you probably have to take a trip to go see them.
I do.
All
He
right.
was just there last week, huh?
I was there on Tuesday. I did.
That's
I get back
awesome.
on Saturday.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you got to go. And I'm asking you that because I bet you're not the only person who takes a trip in the summer.
That's right.
I bet a lot of people do. And there are some common summer things that people often do. And sometimes when kids might change their routine and go back to school, it can be fun for them to tell their friends about it or tell their teachers about it. So one of the things that I might say as a parent you could do for a child who isn't yet speaking as much, or even if they are, you can support this. But for example, one of the things that I do for my son who has a disability is I always send a little PowerPoint to his teacher at the beginning of the year, and it's basically his summer highlights. And I made it a few years ago, and now I use the same template and I plug in the pictures and the things that he did. And that usually includes we went on a trip, he went to camp, or he did, whatever he did in the summer. He liked to go to the pool, that kind of thing. Just like Matt said, he visited his cousin in the Smoky Mountains.
That's right.
So I put those things on there so that my son can share them with his teachers in his class. They can put it up on their screen at school, and it gives him a starting point for sharing. And it also gives the adults the information so that everybody can understand more. And then I think also what relates to this question is what Cheryl was saying before about making it fun, about, picking out a backpack or a new outfit or school supplies. And also at the same time, I realize that every family situation is different, and some families might have different resources. And so one of the things I did want to mention is that a lot of communities do have backpack giveaways and things like that, where you can maybe access some support to get school supplies or a backpack or clothes or whatever your child might need to get back to school. And if you are local to Middle Tennessee, where we are, they're actually doing a backpack giveaway on July 27th from 9 to 12, I believe, at the Williamson County Health Department, which is just across the street from the Waves office.
That's right.
And if you don't live here, look up some opportunities where you live, but we will put the information for the big backpack giveaway in the show notes here. So I would just kind of, maybe help your child pick out some things that they did over the summer that they liked, and then also give them the opportunity to get excited about some new changes that might happen, that they can also, feel empowered about making some choices and going into their new routine to have something to look forward to.
I love the idea of taking time to kind of reflect on the summer and think about the, most special memories and things like that. I also think, I don't know, there's kind of this assumption that back to school transition is like sad for a lot of kids, right? And for some it is, right? Some are not looking forward to it, but there's some who are super excited to head back to school. So I think it kind of goes again with knowing your child, and also we've done posts on our early learning page and a podcast in the past about emotional regulation and feelings, but kind of just taking time to, in order to make it a positive transition, just acknowledging your child's feelings. So if they're feeling sad, acknowledging that. Oh, you're sad. I know it's hard when things change. But if they're happy or they're excited, acknowledging that too. Wow, gosh, you're so excited to go back to school and see your friends. I'm so happy for you. So just kind of taking time to acknowledge and okay your child's feelings, and letting them just share, because that's what they want to do. They want to be able to share what they're thinking and feeling and feel like we understand. So,
yeah, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Matt, do you have another question?
I gotta same thing like Katie, my sister.
Oh yeah, your sister. She's a school teacher, so
That's what Kate is.
she's probably getting ready to. She's probably back at work already, prepping for all the kiddos.
Yeah, Kate is doing that.
Yeah. School teachers have to go back earlier than
Sure.
students. So yeah,
She works at Birmingham.
yeah,
She works in Birmingham.
Yeah, Katie.
What? Does she teach elementary school?
The kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Wow.
Oh, so she has all the kids coming to kindergarten for the first time in the big elementary school.
Yeah. That's right. They have it at Birmingham.
That's pretty special. It also makes me think of another thing that you can kind of do to help with this transition. I guess it might go with the next question, but
yeah.
it's
Matt, do you want to ask that last
yeah,
question?
why
real
don't you
quick?
ask that last question?
Okay, I was good. Nah, number 5 for me.
Yeah, Kate's ready to answer it.
Are there any tools you recommend to help children
Establish
a new routine?
Thanks, Matt. So, yes, that question was, are there any tools you recommend to help children establish a new routine? And since Matt said his sister teaches kindergarten, it reminded me that there are a lot of children's books about going back to school. There's one specifically I know called The Night Before Kindergarten. There are several, though. So you could take a trip to the library in the summer.
That's a great idea.
And, pick out some books about going back to school and start reading those ahead of time to sort of help children get ready for that routine. Also, there's something called a social story that can be really helpful for a lot of kids. It's often used for children with disabilities, but it can be helpful for anybody. And if your child might benefit from that, I have asked my child's teacher before if they could send me pictures of the actual school where he's going, the teachers that he might have, and, the classroom and things like that. And I've had his special education teacher send me a social story, but also even if I have the pictures, I can kind of do that myself. But it's basically what to expect. It's basically like if he were going to kindergarten, I'm going to go to a new school. I'm going to go to kindergarten, and this is what my school looks like. And, I'm going to eat lunch there. I might see this teacher. And a lot of those things, you might even just be able to, you can get a picture of the outside of the school online, but a lot of those things, if you would like that support for your child and your child might benefit, a lot of times teachers can share that with you if you just send them an email. Because a lot of times they can share things that don't have, other children's identifying information. And since they're there before school's starting, they might just be able to do, a little snapshot to help just make that part of the routine to help the kiddo know what to expect more.
Yeah, and Kate mentioned earlier about using visuals for getting ready in the morning. So that's another tool that's very helpful for a lot of children to help them, again, know what to expect and kind of help them build independence with those routines too. So having some sort of visual, and I mean, there's apps too. You could go the technology route for a schedule in the morning, but you could also just kind of write it down, do some little pictures, but just having the steps of the routine in the morning to show children what comes next. And again, like I said, it helps them to build some independence with starting to be able to do that on their own. And also just using a calendar. So if you have a kind of a calendar where you keep track of family events, making sure to put on there any big dates or important events coming up. And then it's also great for kind of building those early math skills too, because you can kind of do some counting, right? Like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you'll be going to wherever that might be. So, I think, and the social stories are great because it's kind of like we talked about earlier with prepping, but it does it in a visual way. So there's lots of different ways to accommodate and support our little ones when they're kind of transitioning to a new routine.
And one other thing that I would say is if you are having some big feelings as a parent or caregiver of a child about your child starting a daycare or a school or moving up to an older class, I recommend, if you can, to make a plan to take care of yourself, after drop off. I know a lot of schools for older kids will do like a kindergarten breakfast or something for parents. But I even had a family tell me the other day that, they were feeling emotional about their child's last year of pre-K before kindergarten. And so if you can, it might be something to think about of just, I'm going to meet my friend for coffee so that or I'm going to
support.
Yeah. Or I'm going to let myself cry about this, whatever you need, but it definitely can be, some parents might be really excited about dropping off at school. Like Cheryl was saying, kids are excited and some parents might be really nervous. And so just kind of thinking about how that might feel for you and taking care of yourself.
Well, I think that's a good point because we're talking about how to prepare our children for these transitions, but they're not the only ones that are going through a transition. Yeah, so I think that's a really good point, Kate, because there's changes for parents too. So,
and a more regulated parent makes a more regulated child
Absolutely.
often. Or if your child is dysregulated, knowing how to also keep yourself being able to stay regulated. I mean, not all the time, but that can help for everybody. So I think that often that is forgotten about. I know I forget about that a lot, but I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional about, what would make me feel a little bit better about this change.
Yeah.
And
Acknowledging
planning for
your
that.
feelings
Yeah.
along with your children's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of this advice is really applicable for adults.
Absolutely.
That's what that's what I love about like when we talk about early learning and early childhood development, like it's so transitional across all ages. And it works for everything. So Matt, do you have any other questions for the ladies?
They are good to me.
Is it all good for you?
I asked the 1 to 5. I did my questions.
You did your
Good
questions.
questions.
You did.
Did a great job.
Well, do you want to ask them? You talked about a vacation that you got to go on. Do you want to ask them if they went on any vacations this summer?
It is a vacation. It did.
Did you have any vacations, Kate? We usually go to the beach, but we didn't make it to the beach this year. But we did go to St. Louis for a baseball game,
Oh, that's fun.
but it was rained out.
Oh gosh.
But we're actually going to go back in August. So that was kind of our family outing
Nice.
this summer.
We are going out of town next Friday.
Ooh.
We always go visit my son's family. My son is adopted, so we always go visit his family where he's from every summer. And this year we're going next Friday, so we'll be gone for almost a week.
Oh, fun.
And then we'll be back, and it'll be time to start school a few days after that.
Yeah. And if listeners are like wondering more about Kate and her son and like what their lifestyle is like, we have a great episode about that whole adoption process that Kate went through with her son. So check that out in previous episodes. So because it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Matt? Have you you went to the Smoky Mountains last week?
Yes, I did.
Have you had any other vacations? You been doing anything fun this summer?
I still in class of skills. That's what I'm doing that.
You're in a skills class, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, and that's with Backlight.
That's right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, y'all have a show coming up. Do you want to?
I do.
Do you want to promote that?
I had a Sunday of the first week of August.
The first Sunday of August.
That's right.
Did you say that was the 3rd?
4th.
The 4th at 3.
That's right.
August 4th at 3 p.m.
That's awesome. Backlight is so cool. And you know what? They added some children's classes this fall.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the first
they are.
time that they're doing that.
Oh,
That is a theater arts and some other things. They do
do.
dance and some other things like that program for adults with disabilities. And this is the first time that they're adding some classes for kids.
oh, that's awesome. We'll have Backlight on later in the season, and so we'll ask them about the kids program. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I love it. Anything else going on in your life, Matt?
One day I stayed in Best Buy. I like it.
Yeah, you're still at Best Buy working hard, huh?
I do.
Matt, I have a question. I am going to the Smoky Mountains in the fall. Do you have any recommendations of things that are really fun to do there?
Look up his cousin.
Okay.
North Carolina. They do all kinds. Bryson City.
Oh, Bryson City, North Carolina.
That's right.
That sounds nice. We're not going all the way there, but I bet there are some cool things. We'll have to try it sometime.
We do. They have Deep Creek up there.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
We are going to take Hayden to Dollywood.
Dollywood.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
We haven't been there since in like 5 years. And so we're going to go again. And
That'll be a totally different
it'll be
experience
fun.
for him.
Oh,
yeah.
How old is he
He's
now?
excited. He's 10.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We're excited.
I didn't expect that number.
He's going to the big school this next month. Yeah, so we're going to Dollywood when we go to the Smoky Mountains, and we're going to a couple theme parks on our trip at the end of this month. But yeah, Matt, have you been to Dollywood?
not me, nope.
You haven't?
Not me, nope.
Oh, you should maybe try it when you go to the Smoky Mountains because
I mean,
it's
it's-
pretty fun, and they have shows too.
And it's Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
real lover of all country music.
I was a long time ago. I was little.
Oh, you went when you were little.
I did.
Cool.
Yeah, I bet it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I did it a long time ago. I was Dollywood. I was.
Oh, and last time when we took my son when he was 5, he loved going on the go-karts
Oh,
with my husband. So we'll probably go somewhere to do go-karts again. Do you ever do go-karts, Matt?
No, me. No, I haven't. I still have my ID.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Any other updates, Matt?
I like to do dusty cleaning.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing
at Best Buy?
at Best Buy.
Yeah, you do a lot. Do some dusting and some cleaning, sell some computers, maybe a couple TVs.
I didn't know they are get ready to do Black Fridays before school starts.
Oh, they have a big sale before school starts?
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
Best Buy.
Oh, is it that is the
Isn't
tax-free
it
day?
tax-free weekend?
Yeah, Best Buy has one too. They are.
I bet you sell a lot of computers and things on
Yeah.
tax-free
They
weekend.
do.
I bet so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So you have to get ready for that.
At college,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Folks going to college, yeah.
they are. I'm not. I already graduated mine.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
You've already gone to college. You don't need school supplies anymore, huh?
Not me.
Us either. Well, I mean, your kids.
Cheryl's a teacher because she homeschools.
I homeschooled,
so-
but we
Yeah.
still need school supplies.
Yes,
so
you do.
We'll have
You
to take
do.
advantage of that tax-free weekend for sure.
I think everybody tries to.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you can get clothes even if you're going back
Oh,
to school
true.
or not. So
Yeah.
I have
Might
to.
need to brush up my wardrobe.
There is where I've got the prices. Yeah, my song yet.
You haven't picked out your song yet, or you
I haven't got the prices yet.
haven't practiced it yet?
Not yet. The event.
Well, tell us about the event, or do you want me to share it?
You go ahead,
Me and go. Okay.
Carrie.
So on September 19th, we have our favorite event of the year, Brews and Grooves. And Matt, the man Moore, will be performing. What are you performing?
Me, Eric.
Yes.
Eric likes Elvis. Eric likes Elvis.
Eric does like Elvis, but I think he said in a previous episode that he's going to do something different.
Eric does a different.
Yeah, I think he's going to pick a different song. So what are you going to pick? What are you going to sing?
I got mine. I got it's country songs.
Yeah.
Country.
Yeah. Which ones are they? Tell us. Do you remember the names? Or do you want to keep us in suspense?
I still have the lyrics. I've got to put mine, my binder, with me.
Yeah. You didn't bring your binder today. Well,
That's okay.
I think that encourages folks
Yeah.
to purchase tickets when we get them on sale so they can come see you perform.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have that on my calendar.
I've got to show you my newsletter.
Yes.
Guys, I've got to show you yet.
Show it off.
I think I saw this on your Facebook page.
So
So cool.
So for listeners, Matt has a print off. Our Franklin Day program puts out a monthly newsletter, and it features different people that we support here at Waves. And the July feature is Matt.
That's right.
Matt
Yeah, so he has a
Moore.
copy of it.
Should I read it? Can I read it?
Can't
says-
read it.
Meet Matt. Matt has been a part of our ECF program over the last 7 years. Matt is very active in his community and is a man of many talents. Matt is a co-host on the Waves podcast.
Right here.
He participates in Backlight Productions, and he just celebrated his 11-year anniversary of working at Best Buy. Matt loves songwriting, WWE, and spending time with his family and friends. He has such a kind heart and is a great friend to all.
That's right.
That's
right.
awesome, Matt.
Yeah,
That's right.
wonderful.
And you covered basically all of that.
You
except
talked about all of that
Except
today.
for WWE. We
Yeah.
didn't talk about that today.
The bottom, the bottom. I don't know. The bottom's out here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we had one of Matt's favorite staff members.
I got one of the members. Waves.
Yeah, she left Waves, but she has a really great job lined up, and we're excited for her future. Yeah.
I'm glad. I didn't make that for Monica too.
Yeah.
I didn't know just the last one person at Waves with my coach Maddie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We still got Maddie. She's still going to coach you.
Yeah, I like to take my driver with me.
Nice.
I always hang out with Ryan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
You and Ryan
Ryan.
always have outings.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's a character.
Yeah.
Just like Matt. Awesome. Well, I think that wraps up our topic and conversation for today. Do you want to send us off, Matt?
Oh, yes, I will, Stacy.
Okay.
This is Waves of Mayonnaise, and this is Spread the Positive.
All right. Thanks, ladies, for being here with us today. And thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
At Alegria Electric, we offer residential and commercial electricity service. Enjoying reliable service, energy efficiency, expert support, and flexible solution tailored to your needs. Maximize productivity and minimize downtime with our commercial electricity service. From a small enterprise to large corporation, we got your power need covered. Contact us now to learn more about our residential and commercial electricity service. You can reach us at 615-930-8409.
Thanks for turning into another episode of Waves of Awareness. We are glad you're here till next time.
Waves of Awareness is a Waves Inc. podcast and made possible thanks to Spread the Positive, the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, and Tennessee's Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. For more information, visit us online at www.wavesinc.com/podcast.